Did you figure out that post, man?
Yeah, still working it. You know,
Cool.
Social media's not my game.
Take your time, man. I won't talk until you're ready.
Now we worked it. Published. Done.
Perfect. Did you use an emoji? Did you write a caption?
No.
Just
Just say
quick
we're about to
reshare.
smack talk right now.
Cool.
Don't know what about.
Neither do I.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the absolute beauty of it, man.
That's why I'm so excited. Cool. Well, I believe we're live now. We are in the Mustard Flats space. This is the official episode 1 of Mustard Flats, and I'm joined by Citizen Kay.
Hey,
How you
I'm
feeling,
joined
brother?
by Kirklandd.
We're joined together. It's a vibe. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling fantastic, man. Feeling real good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, man. It's been a good day, good week.
Yeah.
Great to be back in this space. I'm loving what Nick has created here.
Yeah. How you feeling, Nick?
Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, bro.
First ep.
This is it.
It's only fitting it's you two lads from the old
We
video
thought that,
days.
yeah. Absolutely. Nick, what was your intention with the platform, man? What were you trying to create with Mustard Flats?
Well, we're still kind of freestyling at the moment. We'll just see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a process of just building up the little studio and then build it and they will come kind of thing. Like, let's try and get people in here and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it's a fire space, man. We launched our Love Divide sessions here a couple of weeks back, which went really well. Really cool experience. Being able to get pre-prepared content together, but be live at the same time. I really enjoyed that because we were able to make the music really dope, the aesthetic really nice, but then be live at the same time without everything being so rushed and immediate.
Yeah.
Which we liked.
Yeah, I remember because you obviously told me you were going to do it. And I was like, man, how are they going to do this? Because I knew it was pre-recorded. So I was like, they're going to pull the whole pretending it's actually live when it's not. I was like, ooh,
but it's technically live.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
That was super dope.
Yeah.
I jumped on and I was just like, this is actually such a sick way to present it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, for the virtual tour moving forward, I think that's what we're going to try and do as well. But just make that aesthetic a little bit flyer. So.
The virtual tour?
Oh, yeah.
Have you talked about this before?
Probably not on air, actually. I keep forgetting that we're on a platform right now. We're not just chatting. That's something that's coming up for sure for the Love Divide. So I'm keen for that.
Are you revealing any more about it, or are you just
ask away, man? What do you want to know?
Oh, what is it? Virtual tour.
So, going from the start, obviously when COVID hit, I was like, okay, we're not going to be touring for a while. What can we do online that's not like a regular, low key live stream? Like, what can we do that's going to be to the quality that we'd usually deliver live in a venue?
Yeah.
But how can we do it in a way that really utilizes the online delivery in a really cool, unique way? Because obviously we can't interact with people, we can't perform to them, we can't plan things the way we usually would. How can we make it a cool virtual experience? So that's what the sessions were kind of the start of, was me coming together. First of all, shout out to the entire band. They're incredible people, man. They're so nice and so talented. I saw Victor actually last night at Hippo, which, bro, I got lost in that performance, man. It was 2 hours of Victor just doing his thing. And and the whole band coming together. The idea with that was to give people a really cool virtual musical experience. Start off in a studio, and now we're doing this this quite bigger scale performance now with a full 8-piece band. With Tom, who's joining us from Brass Knuckle, and a few other special guests. You're one of them, actually. So that's gonna be tight. But yeah, just doing it a big cinematic way, and it's taking place in the story of the Love Divide. So the world that I created with that, the shows actually take place in that narrative. So bits and pieces are gonna be revealed about the story and what's going on through the sets, and people have to tune in to figure that out.
Dude, that's dope. I mean, obviously, I've got a bit of an inside view to some degree.
You worked on the songs, of course.
Yeah, to some degree. So it's incredible seeing them reproduced in this way as well. Especially how much time we spend doing them in studio and how much time goes into that.
Yeah.
And then to see them in this live setting, man, it is so crazy.
Yeah. But having it in a way, obviously people even learning the words to the songs and singing them back live, that's not even a thing.
Yeah.
That's removed. So it's what's going to be more engaging and really get people excited about it like they would if they were at a usual show. And I think with the band members we have and the way that the music, I don't know, even SIIYE, that's kind of like a trap song, but the punk undertones in the live set just come all the way through. And it's I start yelling guitar lines going crazy. It's so punk in the live setting. So it's fun kind of finding our feet and just seeing how these songs feel live without even performing them to a crowd, which is kind of weird, but exciting and fun.
Yeah. How was that process of, I guess, for the Love Divide, performing without a crowd? Obviously, you still had the energy of the band members, which is something that, we don't. I get to do it with James drumming, but you haven't really done that before.
Never.
Well,
with Josh, sorry.
With Josh,
course,
well, that's what I mean. We've done it in this small, confined space kind of thing with two people, but having the rest of the band there. How was that for you the first time?
That was phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
That was something else. That was like, well, firstly, just so a little bit jarring at first because like I'm used to having the beat and Josh on foldback and I just followed that. Whereas this, I was, you know, wearing ears and I had like 5 different instruments to be in tune to. So I had in one ear, I just had Josh and my vocal, and the other ear were all like the core rhythm and instruments, which were kind of like the emotive guide for my delivery. So I was kind of keeping in time, but following the emotion with so many different instruments. And then just like seeing what came. And like I said, a lot of the energy in the songs just was totally different, but feeding off of like the musicality of those guys, man. Like they've played in bands extensively overseas in so many different kinds of genres. Being around that kind of musicality and that experience, that's something that Josh and I were both so invigorated by. And yeah, it just felt like a very musical thing to me. And that was like, it was beautiful.
Dude, dope.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, this just came to mind. I don't know why.
Hit me.
But how do you actually know Nick?
Through you originally.
It was through me.
It was through you. Yeah, I think so. The way that I know you originally, just going all the way back, and then Nick ultimately was, as you know, like my big thing growing up was I just wrote raps. My end game was to rap for Shaq.
Yeah,
like that was the end of the vision, bro. So 10 years, I finally mustered the courage. I go to Shaq and I rap for him. He's like, "Cool, you got to meet this guy." Plays me your Yes video on YouTube. You had like 50K views at the time, and I was like, "No way, this guy's in Canberra. Like that's not a thing." But then, yeah, I think after we started hanging out, I was like, who does your videos? I met Nick, and Nick and I have done so many dope things together since.
Yeah, since then.
But you were originally the connect to everything, man, as far as me starting recording, then videos, like, you paved the way, bro.
What? How did we meet?
That's going to go a while back. That's going to be...
I'm pretty sure I hit you up on Unearthed.
On Unearthed?
Yeah.
When were you on Unearthed, bro? Was that like...
Bro.
It was... Or some website... And it was before you were known as Citizen Kay.
Yeah.
What were you known as?
I think I was just going as Kay.
Yeah, just Kay.
Well, when was that transition from Kay to Citizen Kay?
Well, before Citizen Kay, like this was 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Just me making music in my bedroom. I was just going under Kay, and it wasn't until I got a team on board. So my manager, agent. Yeah. They came on board and they kind of flagged that when you type in K,
there's a lot.
You get a lot of searches coming up. Yeah, you get a lot coming up. And that was the process of finding how to make it more unique. Yeah. Yeah. This was the actual. I think this was the first thing as Citizen Kay under that name. Damn.
Over the earrings, bro.
Man, I've been thinking about that actually. The ears are still pierced.
Yeah. Just real quick, are we doing headphones? Or are we not?
I just felt more comfortable doing.
Well, I feel uncomfortable wearing them. I did like the voice thing. That's cool.
And Genesis before he had the beard. For all those that didn't know,
he's always had a beard. I thought.
This is evidence.
I'm hanging out to see this now.
I better do this before we get claimed.
Yeah, actually. Kofi will shut it down, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was the first video.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful face underneath that
first video we ever did.
Yeah.
And a little insider note, the Kofi golf shots are CGI. These ones right here. He could not hit that fucking ball.
Bro! Wow. What? I don't think he ever told us that.
You were there. You saw.
Yeah, that he couldn't hit it. I didn't know you CGI'd him.
Well, in terms of CGI, I put other balls in there to make it look like he was hitting them. Fuck.
Bro! That changes everything.
Wow.
That changes everything. He's not living that down. Yeah, look at this beardless man wearing his bow tie.
Damn. And the yellow beanie.
Damn. He's got a kind of like OG Childish Gambino vibe.
I get that.
Yeah.
Got style, dude.
Always had style. Look at this 14-year-old kid. Look at him. Look at him.
Oh yeah. He wasn't so stylish with the golf shot.
Do you have any outtakes to play for us tonight, Nick? Anything we can see about?
This one, I had to dig this one up because I felt bad.
And you made that the trailer. You really caught him out of that one, bro. God damn.
Yeah.
It was too good.
Thank you, my sweet brother.
And that's still on your channel.
Yeah, it's still out there. That hurt. And I played it off. I was trying to be cool in front of Nick. I was like, I'm in so much pain right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be OG. And
what were you in pain from?
It was
I got a golf club to the nose.
Oh.
He got
that was what that noise you heard
I was just watching his swing.
No. That noise you heard was me getting knocked in the face with his golf club.
And the reason is because I said, okay, get in there, like you hit the shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but Kay, get in there, man. Get close and just hype him up. So I actually directed him into that position. So I always feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But
never saw the swing coming. One more time.
Yeah,
Please. I didn't even see the hit.
I'll pull it up on the full screen.
Yeah, I absolutely got blindsided.
Shit.
So blindsided.
Shit. Did you bleed at all? Like, how bad? Yeah?
So, like, it hit me. I did that whole thing.
You reacted?
Yep. Reacted, pulled back.
Yep.
And then when I grab my nose is when it just starts, like, pouring blood.
Have you ever paid Kofi back? Is there anything you've done to return the favor?
No, but I'm sure, like, I know for a fact that was probably him paying me back for a couple things.
Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to own up about?
A past me that was less considerate.
Yeah.
May have once locked him out in the backyard and ate his birthday cake.
A whole cake?
It was the remainder of his birthday cake.
Did you want the cake or did you
Not
want
really.
to spite? Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like I don't have any siblings, so I'm glad I haven't experienced anything like that, man.
It was a real dick move.
Yeah.
Real dick move.
Yeah. Do you guys still do that shit to each other now?
No, we grew well out of that.
Cool.
No, we've been out of that for a while now. I
Cool.
think that was
That was the last thing.
That was it.
That closed the book.
After that happened, I was like, cool. We're done here. That's all that needs to happen.
Tight.
That's all that needs to happen.
Cool. That's man, I can't believe you did that to you.
I got nothing else to say about it, man.
No, man, it's totally fair.
Yeah, absolutely stitched me up.
I just can't believe I've never seen that before.
I didn't know that was CGI.
It's still live.
Yeah, it's still low.
Yeah.
And the perfect promotional tool.
Huge.
So dope, man.
Yeah.
So dope.
Yeah.
Do you want to? I'm gonna not throw you under the bus, but just because I know we've been having these conversations,
Sure.
Jump me into 2020.
Damn.
Yeah.
First from the start, from the get-go?
Yeah.
Sure. So 2020, it started with New Year's Eve on the Hill. So Josh and I played, it was our third festival of last year. We played our first interstate festival there, had a phenomenal time. I went straight to the studio the next day, started working on this trilogy, the early ideas. And then in February, I had a really, really interesting month, a really insightful month actually, because I had 3 weeks of like constantly intensifying social anxiety. It was real weird. Basically the feeling was I felt like I wasn't in control of my mood the way I felt around people, and I wasn't sure why that was happening. And it was a really interesting time because when I got out of it, I looked back like within 2 days and was like, wow, that was totally out of control. Like there was a point, I remember one day when I tried to like walk outside and just calm myself down. I don't think I was meditating at this point, but I just tried to like calm myself down and like go for a jog or like chill or eat or work out or whatever. Nothing was working and my hands were shaking and I was like, I can't fix this right now. And that was a really scary feeling just to not have that control. So that was February. And then I got to the end of that and I was like trying to figure out where that came from. And I kind of started becoming fascinated with mindfulness and meditation and just understanding, I think initially through Eckhart Tolle, through The Power of Now that I started reading, the power of understanding that your thoughts aren't you.
Yeah.
That the thinker is like a constant thing that is constantly going, and it's really up to you to choose to identify with thoughts that you have. And I wasn't aware of this before this happened. And that's something that I really needed to realize and understand. And then I think I just had this proclivity to start becoming more present and more aware. And that's where mindfulness started for me. Then I started becoming more creative and channeling really creatively like I've been doing with the Love Divide, and just getting to this really amazing point in self and my relationships and my connectivity to being and who I am, off the back of like a potentially very scary experience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's brought me to this point of just being like very much connected with my relationships, my craft, with my growth, and just very excited for everything at the moment. But it came from that time. And Yeah, I know meditation is something we share, man. How is that? How did you get into that for starters? How did that come about for you?
Out of just nothing triggered it really. It was more out of people around me, mainly. So James Ashley, who drums for the Citizen Kay project, he's super into yoga, into meditation, has been since I've known him. We're like on tour in the airport, and this guy's doing like yoga poses in the middle of the airport.
In the airport,
yeah, like
respect,
real no shame.
And he can just block out people and get into that. Wow,
it's like no one's even there.
Respect.
Just like finds a spot in the middle of the airport, and we'll just start doing yoga. So I guess like hanging out with James and touring a lot, I was around, and I was kind of like in the back. I'll be honest, at first I was kind of like, oh man, he's doing his yoga in the middle of the airport again.
Yeah, it can be imposing.
Yeah, but I mean, now I feel different about it because it's just, there's a confidence thing about it of just doing what you need to do.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So watching James do his yoga before shows, before we played, he would, meditate. I'm like, listen to Rage Against the Machine before you go on, just like jamming out, hyping out. And you look to my right and there's James like full meditation mode, like, full like the hands, prayer hands going. Yeah. So it was just like these two sites that were just the exact opposite. But eventually, I guess through conversation and hanging out with James so much, I just became intrigued. I was like, man, why is this guy so into it?
Yeah.
I tried out yoga. Yeah.
I've dabbled recently as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mindfulness is for me.
Only because I think yoga's hard.
Yes.
Yoga is so
you can get good at silencing yourself quickly and being still.
Yeah. So
you're twisting around. Like, I don't see you doing that at all, to be real, bro. No. I'm sure you're capable of it, but I just don't see it.
No. So I think I have a tendency to go into things a bit cocky.
Really?
Yeah. I have the tendency to,
but that I don't think it's cockiness. I think it's confidence for starters, and I think that confidence drives you to see whatever the thing is through, which you always do.
Yeah,
cold showers.
Yeah, for sure. But there's cockiness, right? There is a sense of I genuinely believe that I can do anything, and I think I've had that for a while.
Where does that come from?
No idea. Maybe just how we grew up. Kofi and I really never had. Yeah, I don't think we ever had any instances where we told we couldn't do anything. And especially being two kids who are in the creative industries as well. Our parents were extremely supportive of that. It's just kind of always been there. I just really honestly believe that I can do whatever I want to do. That we can do whatever we want to do.
Do you think that'd be different if you were told you couldn't do certain things early on? Not just by your parents, but like in general?
Weirdly, that drives it more.
Me too.
Because I know I can. So when people say you can't, I'm like, come on.
And I think there is that constant force of energy out there of like, that's a thing of people don't think certain things are possible.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be directed at you, but you can let that drive you if it's not so like firsthand and people being like, you actually can't do that.
Yeah.
So either way, it's out there, and I definitely let it fuel me for sure.
I've asked you before, but I want to ask Nick.
Yeah.
Do you think you love to win or hate to lose?
I'm not a big winning guy. I don't mind. I'm pretty happy to cruise in the middle. Like, that's not my.
Never gotten that answer before.
It's not my driving force.
Yeah.
Trying to win, be successful maybe, but I'm not a competitive person.
Yeah.
Nah.
But if you had to say one motivates you more, the idea of having your back against the wall, does that motivate you? Or if you're on a winning streak, do you want to win more? Or if like shit's hitting the fan, does that make you want to win more?
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
It's a hard question, man.
That's a good question.
Think about it. Because I answered one way the second you asked it, and then thought about it. So I said I love to win immediately, and then I thought about it and was like, I thought of gambling actually.
Yeah,
I thought of the one time that I went gambling and I actually lost, and I was like, no, fuck that. Like, and I think losing in general.
Yeah,
I can take an L. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I don't.
No, we all can by this point for sure, but I don't like to.
Yeah. I'd like not. Yeah, there's a weird thing in like taking an L or I guess the concept of like failure. That's definitely my perception has shifted on it. I kind of see it now as like, cool, that's leading to something else now.
Yeah.
So that perception shift is huge in terms of taking an L, but I was definitely answered the same way. I'm like, I love to win
all the time.
Yeah, I love to win. Like if I'm on a winning streak, I want to keep winning. But I guess that there is a competitive nature in me.
Yeah.
What I will blatantly say is cockiness with some things. Or just like, if I look at something and I think I can do it and I say I can do it, I kind of expect my body to just do it. Circling back to yoga was like literally watching James do it. And I was like, yoga, come on. So he gives me a DVD. He gives me a yoga mat.
You got into yoga for competitive reasons.
Kind of.
Which goes against everything yoga stands for, surely.
Not even necessarily a competitive reason. It was just like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll try it out. And James Warren, he's like, it's not easy. I was like, dude, you're stretching. Like, come on. I know you can have tight hammies, but come on. Come on.
Yeah.
So he gives me a yoga mat very graciously, lends me a yoga DVD. No, burns me a yoga DVD, one of his ones.
Went to the effort.
Went to all the effort.
Cool.
I remember laying the mat on my floor, and there's easy, intermediate, advanced. I went in the middle. I wasn't.
I thought you were gonna go straight to advanced.
No, okay. I went in the middle because I like to. For me, that's testing the waters. Like,
sure.
I never go beginner. If there's 3 levels, I always go in the middle, and the middle is usually harder than I think it is.
Yep.
And this was the case. So, I think it was a 30-minute yoga session, like DVD, and I remember getting like 5 minutes in, if even that. And like holding this pose, I don't remember what the pose was, but I remember getting to a point my whole body was like, and I'm like, I start like sweating.
Wow.
And the chick in the DVD's like, and just relax your body, just like be centered with your mind. I'm just like,
how?
Holy damn! Like,
couldn't
do it at all. I think I gave in about 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
and we're just gonna go to a clip of that now.
Yeah, literally, 10 minutes in, I was like, cool, this is difficult.
Yeah.
That made me want to do it more.
Yeah.
So I kept doing it and got to a point where I could do the whole 30 minutes. And then once I did that, I was like, cool, done, packed up. That's enough of yoga.
And you didn't enjoy the process enough to keep doing it?
Well, I think I was doing it for the wrong reason.
Okay.
I don't like not being able to do something. So.
But why did you start meditating then? That was more curiosity than a defiant, I need to.
Yeah. Well, the yoga thing is what led. Is it what led to meditation? Not necessarily. I think I got curious about just our minds, and like you were saying, like the thinking mind.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I think it was the same book that Eckhart Tolle. I read.
Yours was New World, right? New Earth. Sorry.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He just talked a lot about just observing your surroundings and not putting labels on things and just being in the moment. And I remember reading and just being like, huh. There was one line where he says, like, look at a flower or something and don't put that on like a tree or anything in nature and don't put a label on it and just observe it. And I obviously, like, I kind of read those things and I was like, okay, come on now. This is a bit hippie.
But then did you put it into practice? And
I did.
Yeah.
Just tried it out and it was awesome. There was one point where I was in my room, but I was just looking out the window and I just ended up staring at the sky for ages. And it felt great.
Cool.
I don't know what it was. I never unpacked it, but I was just like, that was really peaceful.
Yeah.
And then that turned into the idea of being able to kind of like silence my mind on command. So there was a mindfulness aspect to it, but also that competitive thing as well.
Yeah.
Of when I first tried to meditate, not being able to get past like 3 minutes.
Yep.
Without my brain just like going nuts all the time. Yeah. And that turned into a competitive thing. I'm like, all right, I can't go 3 minutes without like freaking out because it's just too hard.
Sure.
And yeah, I just added a minute on every time. And eventually got to a point where I was just like, one of the first times that my brain actually just stopped.
That's profound, right?
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
It was so dope.
What did that feel like?
Well, I didn't see it come. Like,
were you meditating at the time, or it just hit you out of the blue at some point?
I was trying. It was in this competitive thing where I was getting like a minute more every time I did it. I must have just hit like a sweet spot or something where, in the process, I was doing the whole focus on your breath. But it got to a point where I stopped focusing my breath, and there was no thought, and it was only for a brief moment. It was a brief moment because it happened, and then I thought, "Oh, you're not thinking," and then I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm thinking about not thinking," and then I got back into the cycle again.
Yeah.
So it kind of definitely started as a competitive thing, but that brief moment, there was that a sense of calm and peace that I hadn't experienced in that same way before. I'd experienced it in the form of music. That peace and calm of hearing a piece of music.
Me too.
And just having no words and just being like, this, I don't know what this is.
But having that with no catalyst, I guess, is the wild part,
having
right?
it with nothing, quote unquote,
To
nothing.
trigger it, yeah.
Yeah, dude. And ever since then, I've kind of been up and down with it. Definitely this year, 2020, the crazy year that it's been, I've gotten more and more into it, more into mindfulness.
Yeah.
Just like perception of the world has been super crazy. There was a point where I was dabbling with the idea of like, this is going to go down a rabbit hole, but like, what if this is like a simulation or like in a game? I think a friend brought it up. He's like, man, we could be in a simulation. I was like, that's absurd. But also, I don't know. Who am I to know?
Who knows?
Who am I to know? So it was like 2 days where I was like, what if this is just a character in a game?
Yep.
And it was the funnest couple of days I've ever had.
Yeah.
I didn't take anything serious. Like, you still take things seriously because you want to win the game. Like, if you're playing a video game, you still want to do well, but you're also like, it's just a game.
Do you feel like material things don't matter as much in that mindset? Or like the physical realm itself doesn't matter as much?
Not for me.
What about the simulation? What about that like was fun?
I think it was fun in the sense of like when you play an actual video game and you want to win the game, but it's also just a video game.
And for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can do the mission.
Yeah. Or
I can like playing GTA, I can do the missions, or I can like drive around and steal cars. Like obviously don't do that in real life. obviously don't go be doing that. Go, you know, carjacking.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it was almost like a freedom to just enjoy things and not take things too seriously.
Yeah.
There was one point I remember driving to the studio and it's easy to like think and get distracted while you're driving. I remember driving and looking at it as a game. I was just like how well can I stay in between the lines? Like, can I do my lane changes without hitting like the reflectors in the middle? And it was like the drive to work became fun.
Yeah.
It was dope, man.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Do you think that's just your level of presence being greater in the drive?
Definitely. Well, that's the point of it.
I agree.
Yeah, with, you know, enjoying what you're doing in the moment of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your presence automatically goes up. So whether that was I don't remember if that was intentional or not, but you just become more present. And I realized I was like doing things while I was driving that I never knew I did.
Yeah.
Dope.
And both of you doing this, how has that kind of affected your music? Has that caused that freedom as well?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I think for starters, through mindfulness, you get stronger connectivity to yourself and your own being, but you also get much more deeply connected to where ideas come from and inspiration and where you channel from creatively. And I've just from like you said, increasing that level of presence and level of connection to myself, I've really felt tangibly what ideas are and where they come from and how that works and how you can facilitate having ideas and bringing them from the non-physical realm into the physical through yourself, how you can make yourself like a worthy conduit to have inspiration, have ideas, and be a receiver of those all the time. It's a really cool thing. And I believe it's from the same realm where we are all one, we are all just beings, but
Look
also
at this hippie.
100%. What do you want to call it, bro? But also that's where pure ideas come from.
Yeah.
And it's all just one. And I think that connection is what's deepened through mindfulness, and that's what I enjoy about it. True. And like you said, that potential in yourself, like that true nature of who you are, that being, that's just like it's heightened for me.
Yeah. For me, it hasn't been quite the same with music. Music for me has been a freedom of kind of looking at it as a game not to take so seriously. The times where I've enjoyed music the most is when there's been no agenda behind it.
Yeah. When
I've just been creating for the sake of creating. And there is a blissful ignorance to when you start making music. Or I'm sure it's creatively all around in all creative industries. But for me, I remember when I started making music, like got my first guitar, it was just fun. Like I wasn't like, oh, I've got to make this song and it's got to get this many streams, or we've got to do this social media campaign.
It was for the craft, right?
Yeah, it was just because it was fun to do.
Yeah.
And I think all of this, especially the idea of like just enjoying the process of what you're doing in that moment, that's what's come back with creating music for me now. When things aren't going the way you want it to go from like a creative point of view, for example, I'm trying to get an idea and I guess this is like my erraticness maybe of wanting to get to that final product quicker.
Yeah.
Whatever that is from.
But that detaches you from being present in the process of making the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it comes back to what you touched on before about when you were saying, like Tolly was saying, don't don't judge things or perceive them a certain way. I read that in the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and it was the same thing of don't judge people, actions, events, or ideas before you have the understanding of what they really are. And that's something that when I've been creating, because like you, I can get frustrated quickly being like, nah, this is trash. And I usually come from that place of like, I'll write the first line of a song 50 times for an hour until like, okay, it's good enough. But practicing non-judgment and seeing ideas all the way through until they're more fully formed, that non-judgment, I think, it applies to everything.
Yeah, there's a discipline aspect to that I've done in the past. I think I told you about it. The idea of just like letting go, like creatively as well, and just allowing things to be whatever they are. I remember learning that from, I don't know where I got the exercise from, but I was writing a verse a day and then deleting the verse after it. So the thing was,
the point was the process. There was no outcome.
The point was the process. So I would have to write a 16-bar verse every day. And no matter how long it took me, sometimes it took me 5 minutes. Sometimes I would literally spend 4 hours writing this verse.
Yeah.
But after every single one, I had to hit delete. No matter how good I thought it was.
So I couldn't do that, man.
But that was what was amazing about it.
Delete,
man. Delete.
Yeah.
There was one really hard one, one that took like a good chunk of my day.
Yeah.
I remember writing it, had this beat that I'd pulled up, and I was like, man, this is like the best flow I've done in so long. Like, I was feeling myself. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling myself.
Rightfully so, by the sounds of it.
And I got to the end of it, and I was just like, I recorded it just on my phone memo. I'm like, because I knew I have to delete it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like just trying to like embed it in my mind, like in my subconscious. And I remember just like going to hit that delete button and just being like, but when I hit delete, it was cool. I was like, it's just a verse.
Yeah.
I just did it. I could do it again.
Yeah. And I guess it strengthens your memory. If it was a really good idea, you'll have it later again.
Yeah.
It'll stick with you.
But it's just a thing of like working the muscle.
Yeah.
Like that writing muscle by doing it so constantly, and being disciplined with it to do it every day like that, and then not being attached to the result.
Yeah.
It allowed me to, a lot of days, just write a trash verse and be okay with writing a trash verse.
Yeah.
And then out of that came great verses as well. And that all led to, at the time, I think it was a few months before we made the Belly of the Beast album.
Cool.
So all led to that. And the thing was, when we got to making the album, that was the most that everything has flowed in so long.
Because you'd been working that muscle right up to that point.
Yeah, well,
cool.
it was unintentional to a point. I was writing, going like, I don't know why I started it, but I started doing it. But when it came to actually having to write the album and the lyrics and the concepts and what I wanted the album to be, once we had the music there, it all just fell into place.
Did you feel detachment when you were making the album from, I guess, outcomes for the album itself?
No.
Okay.
No. Because I knew that was going to be a tangible piece of work at the end of the day. So that still played into it for sure.
Did that affect the creative process at all? Was it any different when you were just writing those verses and deleting them?
No. And that was the good part.
And that's the lesson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the actual creation
it purified
process,
the craft a bit?
Yeah. I was writing, and because I was so detached from writing just a verse, it was just another verse.
Cool.
And I realized, like, if you write a trash verse for this, even though it's on the album, if you write a trash verse, you can just delete it.
Freedom.
No one will ever know.
Yeah.
But fortunately for that process, that's not really what happened. Most of what I wrote the first time is
fire.
Is what made it on the album. Like, there were very little tweaks, and also the detachment of which is interesting because I know you don't work like this, but there was not a lot of rewrites or looking over things or mulling over why things were written.
That's become less of a thing for me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was what was amazing about it, was I was able to just write and let it be what it was.
You think that's a confidence thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Because for me, it's a confidence in the sense of, like, you touched on enjoying the process before. Like, I enjoy the creation so much more than I used to. And that's, for me, come down to detaching from outcomes as well.
Yeah.
But having just that level of passion and enjoyment and freedom, like you said, in the process, the energy around that's just so dope, man.
Yeah, it translates.
It definitely does. But yeah, when you said about rewrites, I've just never felt like with a song that hasn't yet come out, that was written in 20 minutes. Like, that was actually channeled.
Yeah.
And that was the fastest thing. Because I was just there and present and really there for the process. It's very different.
It's something that, like, I'm not someone to unpack too much, so I just accept whatever it is as it is.
That's where I come in, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's where Kirk comes in it and lays it all down for me, lays it on the
100%.
table.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like a 700 take?
Yeah, that was nobody.
In
Yeah.
the studio?
No, I have no shame about that. 1100?
It was 700.
700, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I
For
got my
nobody.
facts right here.
You got the fact check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a few days in the studio. For those who don't know,
I think 3 different sessions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kirk came in and delivered a staggering 703 takes.
Yeah,
for
on
his song
Nobody.
Nobody. So when you hear Nobody, how long is the song?
3 minutes.
That 3-minute
30.
song.
Yeah.
Just remember, 700
So much work.
individual takes went into
There was
hearing
very little enjoyment in the process in that particular song. That was like me just like wanting to nail those. They're tight flows, bro. Like they're no joke. And yeah, that took a lot. Whereas the stuff now.
What was the reason for the? Was
Just
it
bro, there's
you
the
were
precision
changing
delivery. No, I just kept doing lines, like single lines over and over until I heard them right. I think you were probably like,
We
detached at
got
that
it.
point.
We got it.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Let's move on. No, but with the I don't know, it was precision of the raps. I really wanted to hear them be super airtight, and have the melodies. You know, it was just a process.
Yeah, I remember actually what it was you were really, you were hell-bent on smacking out the verse as one go.
Yeah, which can be good.
Yeah, I remember that now. You were like,
True.
nah, the whole verse has to be done in one solid take.
Yeah.
Like no vocal comping.
I think that's just like the old school rapper in me coming out, just like a pride thing.
But
you know?
even that, like, people are gonna crucify me. Who's the dude from NWA who like rapped one line at a time?
Easy Cube.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
If it
That's
sounds
OG
tight, it
rap.
sounds tight. Yeah. As long as you can do it live, that's the big differentiator for me.
But we're not live. We're in the studio.
Yeah, but I can't spit it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember that process being of. You
Yeah.
were really, really like super bent on it being, I want this to be one solid take.
Yeah.
From top to bottom. And I remember like low key in the back, like saving all my favorite takes. And there was one point where I stitched together a few takes and you're like, that's it. And I was like,
That wasn't one take, bro. Did you follow me in that process?
no, I told like,
You told me. Cool.
yeah, I told you. You were like,
Cool.
that's it. And I was like, yeah, I stitched together the last couple of takes.
Yeah.
And you were like, huh,
Yeah.
cool.
And I think since then it's become about efficiency and not being like, yo, it has to be bar for bar. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like we wouldn't have got those takes without that process anyway. And we
True.
even after we did that, we still continued to keep doing takes and
True.
we ended up getting better takes.
You're right, man.
But yeah, that's why there were so many takes. But I guess that's the process. Although it sucked for you, all I have to do in that moment is
Endure.
yeah, is just say do another one
100%.
and hit the record button.
Yep.
My job's pretty easy in
Yeah.
that world.
But since then, I don't think we've done that again, for example.
No, but we might
finessed that
again.
part. Oh, and I'm open to it. I hope not, but I'm open to it. But with that, and then, yeah, the cool thing with more recently with SIIYE was that you were heavily involved in the thousands of melody ideas I brought in. Like, I just brought in tons of ideas to you. I think we did 12 different writes of the song.
Yeah.
But you were great in the process of being like, especially when I thought things were amazing, you're like, yeah, but is it translating to the feeling? Like, what is the feeling? You kept bringing me back to like the defining, this is the feeling, this is the direction. Are all these little decisions adding to that feeling, or are we getting further and further away from it? And that was a really good guiding point for me to come back to the feeling of the song. And that's why the rapping just slowly disintegrated. I don't know if you remember the OG version, but it's like an upbeat trap banger with like Doja Cat references.
Yeah.
And then it became this like really dark, melodic, like twisted, like agonizing, regretful kind of sound. And you helped me identify that feeling and strive towards it. So that was also a cool part of the process with you, man.
Yeah, I think that was definitely me projecting what I love about music onto you and onto the people that I work with. There was a few videos I've been watching. One was Anderson .Paak's Tiny Desk. I remember watching it, and just like he had this like smile on his face when he's like playing the drums, and he's just like just chilling.
Yeah.
And he's just grooving.
He just is music, bro.
I remember watching him and instantly realizing that I had a huge smile on my face. And I was like, I took time and technically sounds amazing as well.
Yep.
But there was something about the feeling I got watching him and listening to him play and an intent that he was sending through the microphone and through the visual of watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that guy.
Dude.
Just chilling.
But he's translating the feeling as much as the music itself, like his energy, right?
But that energy comes through him playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, watching things like this, there's another one, a Daniel Caesar one. The Mac one is incredible.
Yeah.
But I started becoming really obsessed with like why, especially in a situation like this where it's just them with their raw instruments. There's no incredible production going on.
Yeah.
why do I feel more connected to this
than the songs?
Not necessarily than the songs, but why am I so connected to this compared to something that's been polished and done well? And it came back down to the look at that smile. Just grew. He's just
Andy, bro.
himself, right? Look at this dude. Right? He's just chilling.
So far.
There was something about they just look like they're loving it. They're just enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And that enjoyment was the feeling. There was a feeling like I can't even hear it, and I'm getting excited watching it.
Yeah.
Like there was something about being able to. Oh man, look at him. Sorry, just Andy.
Not at all.
Andy gets me. But yeah, I started kind of researching this and looking more into it of the feeling behind music, is why a lot of us connect to a lot of songs to start with, especially in like early teens or whatever, when we start getting into bands that influence kind of who we end up being. Just that idea of actually executing that on a track and having that intent while creating the track.
The feeling intent.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first time. These songs are the first time I've done that.
Yeah.
From SIIYE and the other songs in the trilogy. That's the first time I've gone strictly from that point of like, this is the feeling, let's work towards that as the end goal. Not so much the energy or the rapping delivery, like nobody, like the feeling around it.
Yeah.
And that's also, as you said in the live sense, that's translated live for me. And I remember when you saw Too Late live, the song that's also not yet out, and you were like, that's a very clear direction, that cheeky energy that I had as to what you should feel as a viewer and an audience member.
Yeah.
Directing that as the performer and the artist, that's really cool. And that's what you just said about Andy as well.
Yeah.
And I love that, that strong sense of like, this is the feeling we're having right now. And people can clearly identify that and like run with that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. For me anyway, and I'm sure for heaps of people, creators of music and people who just listen to music as well, there is something undeniable about how a piece of music or even watching someone play can make you feel. There was one story I remember hearing. This guy was talking about his dad took him to like some crazy piano recital thing, some like world-renowned pianist, and
No,
come on, and they sat through like this hour concert, and the guy hit every note, and he was eloquent on the keys, and he made it look beautiful. But they walked out, and the kid said to his dad, he's like, he played great, but I didn't get anything from it. And his dad said something in the effect of, yeah, he was playing all the right notes, but he wasn't playing the music. And I was just like, at first I didn't get it. And I was like, he's playing the notes, but he's not playing the music. And I realize now how I interpret is the music being the feeling. There's a way to be technically proficient at something. And if you can have both, then awesome.
Yeah.
But there is still something about seeing an artist or a performer live, and I've had this happen where you can be in front of someone and hear like a singer or something, for example, and hear
the
that
talent.
They're technically, like on both sides, you can hear that some people are technically amazing. They're hitting every note, but there's something there's something that's just missing, and you can't put your finger on it. And then I've also seen people who are doing all right hitting the notes, but there is something about how they're doing it that make you just forget or not even realize that they actually might not be hitting notes. There was one particular show that I saw where it wasn't until I watched back the footage that I was like, oh, they're actually not hitting all the notes. But I remember in the moment being like, this is the most amazing performance I've ever seen.
What made it amazing outside of the slight technical like inability? What was it outside of that?
They were just
their energy.
They were putting through some sort of intentional energy.
Right.
They were putting through something.
Yeah.
And this wasn't who it was, but I remember another show I went to, Adrian Eagle.
Dude.
He embodies that incredibly.
Yep.
I can't watch him and not just be like, oh, life's great.
He's incredible. Yeah.
Just to be able to like, and that's something else that I guess trying to unpack these things a bit more of why is that the case. Obviously a talented and incredible musician and singer and writer, but there is an energy around him when he's performing and when he's speaking as well that you're just like, this guy knows
He's
something.
just joyful, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just pure joy.
Yeah. And that feeling is what you remember, I think.
Yeah.
Just from meeting, even outside of music, just meeting people who have that kind of energy.
Yeah.
That's what sticks with you.
And it's interesting with like, I'd love to know with someone like him if it's something that he's going in very conscious of, in the sense of, I think we've talked about, like when I do shows, CK shows, I have the intention before I go on stage to enjoy myself and in turn allow people who are watching it to enjoy themselves. I want them to leave a little bit happier than they came in. You know, I want them to leave feeling like life's great. And no matter what's happening before I step on that stage, I have to be able to flick that switch. So I'm interested to know if it's something similar for someone like him. There've definitely been like days on tour where I've just been wrecked, just totally wrecked. And James has felt this as well. But as soon as you go on, and as soon as that first song starts, it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. You're like almost flick this switch.
I've had times where I've been physically ill, and instantly the second I've started playing, that has gone. It's vanished,
and it comes back when you finish.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely.
And how has it been not being able to do that right now with the virus? Are you missing the stage?
I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you at all. I love being behind the scenes. So I've been doing more studio stuff, more mixing, especially mixing. Love mixing. And I love the process of creating music with other people and just creating music for myself as well the last few weeks. Playing shows has a particular energy that I love. I've always said if there was a way to get out of my bed and get on stage and then finish the show and be directly back in my bed, it would be the perfect job.
Well, that's perfect for COVID. It's the streaming streaming era.
To be honest,
live
there's been a few amazing shows that I've seen and I've watched in the comfort of my bed with like my nice headphones on. I've been like, this is amazing.
This is great.
I love this.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing like being a punter in a real thing. But yeah, this
and also performing shows in that way.
Yeah.
Like you both guys did live in your lounge.
From a from performing point of view, it's very different. It's it's easier to get in your head from the performance side.
Dude, when I was seeing myself on camera, that tripped me out.
Yeah.
That was not cool at all.
That's a real trip.
I never want to see myself performing.
That's a real
That's for
trip.
other people, but that's not for me.
Dude, that's an interesting one. I was doing Kira Mosa just did hers as well, and they were
Cool.
doing
You
we all
performed,
did
right?
we
Cool.
jumped on for a song.
Dope.
But the night before we did a rehearsal, and she has dances and all these crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
But in the dance studios they have like the mirrors, and you watch how you're moving. I found this weird thing when I was rehearsing that I couldn't look at myself in the mirror while doing it.
Why was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it like a shyness thing, or like why can't I look at myself?
I feel like the
performing?
more aware or the more you overthink your movement, the less natural it's going to be. That's what I
True.
felt when I was performing.
Yeah.
Like I like to be just present and see how people are reading me and let that guide my movement.
Yeah.
And not be like, oh, I'm going to put my right foot here. The second I start doing shit like that with rapping as well, it'll be very technical.
It all goes down. Yeah.
And the feeling you talked about, the technicality might be there, but the feeling won't be as present.
because you're thinking about how you're moving. That's very true.
You don't want to be thinking about that.
Yeah.
No.
That's very true. Because I think there is a time for that as well. With someone like Kira, how much rehearsal goes in to it eventually becomes second nature.
Yeah.
So I guess then when you're performing, like you can spend that time getting the technical right, which
before you actually play.
Yeah, which is what the greatest musicians do. Like talking about Anderson .Paak before, I'm sure he didn't just jump on a kit one day and was amazing.
No, sir.
Like there is so many years go into that discipline to get into a point where it just becomes second nature.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about it. And I think that's what's important as well with, especially for new artists, I think, watching these more established artists of you have to realize that it's not, we all know it's not an overnight thing, but it's easy to forget that sometimes.
Yeah. The amount of work you need to put in for it to be that good.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's very easy to oversee that and very easy to oversee what the process that could have gone into whatever you're experiencing is. I think that's the great thing about being an artist.
You have the appreciation for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you analyze it a bit as well. Like you enjoy shows, but you also carefully analyze how they're that good when they're that good.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite things. I think with music as well.
Yeah.
I think I always listen subconsciously to music from an analytical perspective.
Yeah.
To be like, why is this so good? And unpack the feeling behind it. I know that's how Pharrell creates music as well. He hears a feeling in a song and he goes systematically, I'm going to break down how this feeling was constructed and reconstruct it in a similar way, which is why I got caught out with Marvin Gaye. but analyzing that feeling and unbreaking that down,
Yeah, it's an incredible way to do it, an incredible way to appreciate art in general, but not even just art, but even things like sort of on topic, sort of not on topic, but speaking to my mum about, she's a teacher, and hearing her talk about that, the more I heard her speak, the more I was like, this is a creative practice in itself.
In the way you interact with people in that role?
Yeah, like as a teacher, this same thing we're talking about, there is, you have to learn and know the knowledge, but then there's a performance in a sense as well when you're in front of a classroom.
That's different to who should be at home, for example, or
maybe an extension of who she is at home.
Yeah.
But in that same way, if we jump on stage and we have to flip on a switch and perform, speaking to my mum, it seems like it's the same thing because you're commanding a classroom. You've now got to have the attention of these 20 or 30 kids who some of them probably would rather be anywhere else. And you've got to find a way to hold their attention for X amount of time and also impart knowledge on them.
Do you feel like you have to flip a switch at shows when you're just, you're performing that night, but you're at the show just around people? Do you feel like you have to flip a switch to be a certain level of energy?
I used to.
Yeah.
100% used to.
Yeah.
It started off unintentional and then it became very intentional. Like old transit bar days, going in and just enjoy myself. I like to go and I like to have a dance. I like to be first on front of stage when people start performing.
Yep.
That was one thing that, once again, I wasn't thinking about at the time. But if I start performing and no one's on the dance floor or in front of the stage, I wish that someone would get up and move.
That's something you told me from day one. We've been interstate and had support acts play for us, and I've been like there front and center vibing out.
Yep.
When no one else has.
And that, I mean, I think doing that subconsciously in whatever manner, someone brought it to my attention. And that's when it changed. Someone was like, man.
And it became intentional?
Yeah. He's like, I love how you always come in and like, you just like got all this energy and you just like vibing out.
You're like, yeah, I do, right? I do have that.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But then after that, I almost felt this obligation to be like that every time. So I was like, now every time I go into this space or a space like it, I now have to be this full of energy, like, what's that guy? Like
too. But that's when it gets tiring, right?
That's when it gets uber tiring.
Yeah.
But also, there's a weird thing about that as well, that in my mind, I was doing it to help facilitate everyone else's experience, which is maybe a pretty egotistical thing as well. Of thinking like,
I think it's pretty selfless.
I'm the one here. There is a selfish element. I'm not gonna lie.
Both, yeah.
But yeah. I like attention sometimes, and that plays into it. But like being able to go in and at least foster an environment where you allow everyone else to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
There's nothing like the first guy on the dance floor to break the ice.
You're
I'm like,
that guy.
and that's what I used to do. I'm like, cool, I'll go on. I'll look like an idiot for a bit. And then once people start coming on, I'd usually break back. I'd usually like,
you've done your job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd slip back and sit down. And I get to, when it was intentional, that's what would happen a lot actually. I was like, I felt like it was my job or my responsibility to get people up front and listening and giving that person their attention. And then once people started doing that, I'd be like, okay, cool, now I can sit down. Once again, it was overthinking now, like looking back at it, I was like, just be who you are and feel what you feel.
Yeah, but I had that switch that I wanted to activate in myself all the time, I realized. Like I realized I always wanted to have that big vibe encompassing energy and be, I guess, remembered for that or known for that.
Yeah.
Which was obviously the same thing. It's like it's putting that effort into like, oh man, I have to be on this level of energy again all the time. It can get draining, man.
You got that though. Anyone who knows Kirklandd, that's the first thing
I
they
do,
say.
but I feel like, but I feel like it's a bit more elongated now. It's not like in short bursts like it used to be.
Yeah.
I'm just, present all the time now and I can have much more longer days because of that. And it's nice.
Yeah. No, I totally feel that, man. I totally feel that. And it's, once again, it comes back to what I think is who we are as people, and many people are like that, I guess.
Yeah.
But also there is responsibility in a way to be that kind of person. Because when you come in, like if I'm being a bit sluggish and you come in with energy, guess what's going to naturally happen?
Yeah, the other day I came in with like 2,000.
Yeah, who was I in with?
Jeff.
Yeah. Jeffrey was in, and you came busting through the doors, and we were just like, I think we were having these like Zen conversations.
Yeah.
And you just came busting through the doors. We're like, oh damn, okay, that's where we're going.
So excited for work, bro.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it, man.
Me too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nick, what's been happening on your end with you into meditation or anything?
No, I'm not. But yoga does intrigue me because I'm getting old and my bones are sore.
Do you still have the CD, bro? Or?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah, maybe I could get a class from Kojak.
Yeah.
So I've been meaning to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I've been focusing on just working at the moment, so I haven't had my mind in those sort of places.
Yeah. Do you have like a daily? Obviously, having a 9 to 5 plays into this, but do you have some sort of daily routine, whether intentional or subconsciously, that that you find yourself kind of doing?
Yeah, I'm a sleep in kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I need a lot of sleep, but once I'm up, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty regular with my diet and that sort of thing. But what I'm not good at is making sure I go to the gym every day or that sort of stuff. Like, I'm usually editing every night after work or working on this and stuff. So that's not my priority. It's doing other video related things like this. That comes first, which probably isn't a good thing all the time, but
yeah, it's hectic. There was gonna flex it a little bit, but
please.
Start of the year I did this challenge with a friend of mine, John Silek, the 75 challenge.
This was during the filming of Funny Business.
Yes, it was.
You were either about to start it or you were
I was
finishing.
about to finish it. Yeah, I was so close to finishing because everyone wanted to go have a beer afterwards and I couldn't because I was like,
that's right.
I was a few days
like the last
off.
weekend, maybe.
Yeah. So basically, it's
cut and wait for the video.
Yeah. Oh, bro, it was hectic. But it was this thing of like the once again just did it because I was like, that sounds cool, curious, see what it'll do. So it's 5 things every day for 75 days straight. Drink a gallon of water, so 4 liters. Work out twice a day. One has to be outside, no matter what. Pick a diet and follow it. No cheat meals, no alcohol.
Yep.
Take a progress photo, nice and easy, and read 10 pages of a non-fiction book. And like for 75 days straight, let me point out, I failed the first time. I got to day 32 the first time, and
there's no way I could do that. There's no way.
It'd be tough. Yeah.
That was what was crazy though. It was all a mindset thing. It was 100% a mindset thing. There was a few times in it. I'll be honest, I'm not the most disciplined guy. I'm a very like, now is a good time to do this, so I'm going to do it. If I don't feel like it, I don't do it.
Disciplined or routinal?
What was that?
Like, do you feel like you're not disciplined? You don't have a clear routine with things?
Okay, yeah, that's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, I feel like you're disciplined.
Yeah. That's a better way to put it. But there were days where I knew because I had to get it. Like, you have until you go to sleep to tick off those things. So if it's hit midnight or 1 a.m. and I still haven't done them, guess what I got to do for the next 45 minutes? Some sort of workout. And it was something about challenging myself to that point where realizing that all it was flicking a switch in my brain of perception. Like the workout things were definitely, not hate working out, but I'm not a working out guy.
No.
That's
I just rejoined the gym, no big deal.
Okay. Wow, look at this guy. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
But there was something about, especially early in the morning, knowing if I had something on, like a session, at 8 or 9 in the morning, now I've got to be up at least an hour and a half before to do a workout and to do everything else I need to do. And there was
always had to be the start of the day though. You couldn't do it later.
Well, that was what I learned the first time, which was get both workouts done in the first half of your day.
Yeah.
That was important for me to know that the second time because the first time your day goes along and she gets in the way.
Yeah.
So the second time around, it was a very thing of like, cool, here's what I need to do, get it done, and move on. But that mindset thing of what I was going to say, the working out part, there was like a 10-second window where if I didn't just get up and do it within that 10 seconds, it was going to become 40,000 times harder to do.
Yeah.
And I became aware of this. So I'd count myself down when I was like, I could think of nothing worse than getting up and like, window. Yeah. So I'm like, cool, you've got 10 seconds, right? Like as soon as that thought comes in, another thought came in of like, you've got 10 seconds. So I'm like, cool, I got 10 seconds to like just sit here and like feel sorry for myself. And I'd get down to like, count down from 10. I'd get down to 1.
Yep.
And before I hit 0, I have like, if I'm in bed, I have to be out and on the floor, like on 0 every time. All mentality thing. Yes, I could have got to 11 and I would have gotten up anyway. But there was something about like being like, I got 10 seconds.
But I feel like the longer you have to build up the task in your mind, the more daunting it gets with anything.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this recently, but the idea of like having something you need to get done, the longer it's left not being done, the more you create how big of a task it is to do, which I've realized recently is a behavior of mine as well.
Yep.
So I crunch things out as I think of them if I'm able to.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the dream?
The dream?
Yeah.
In
this, Kirklandd.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sudden transition, man.
Yeah, bro.
The flow's just pivoted. In Kirklandd, in Daniel, talk to me.
Give me actually give me Daniel.
Give me Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, to fulfill my creative potential, to achieve a certain degree of material success, and figure out my true purpose in serving the world.
Okay. He's thought about this.
Yeah.
Nick?
That's the next few years.
My goal in life, get to episode 2, straight from the source.
Big vibe. What's yours, bro?
Figuring it out still. There's obviously Citizen Kay stuff that I want to do, and production, mixing stuff. Like, I guess career wise, I know where I'm heading. From a production point of view, I'd love to have a full team of people where I just become another cog in machine. Build a team to a point where I'm not needed anymore, and have that be able to go on and be its own thing.
Yep.
So that's a team of everything audio related, from creating like film music to jingles and TV, but like working with artists, artist development,
cool,
production, mixing, anything audio related.
Yep.
I would love to be part of a team that can be at a world standard, the best in the world.
I want that, but for a creative direction team.
Heck, dude.
I want to build a creative team of of all kinds of creatives to lead like a certain creative direction vision, and also build a marketing team as well.
Yeah, tight.
I want to be at the forefront of those two things in music while making and building my own artist project, but I feel like all three feed into each other.
Yeah, they'll all fit into it. And I'm not sure where I got it from, but for me, the important part of that is getting to a point where I'm not important in it.
How do you mean?
It's easy for, I guess, these visions to rely on one person. Without that person being the head of it, the vision of a company or a team can quickly fall apart. It seems to surround whoever the main person is.
So could you, for example, never succeed in that in Citizen Kay, for example, because you're always the defining part of that? Is that what you mean?
Well, for Citizen Kay, that's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's something where it can't. But in production, for example, you're not defining what that looks like.
Yeah, in terms of having, you still want to build, or for me, I still want to build a team that is based around, for me, like having a great core values is really important. Yeah. And having a team that share a certain set of core values is really important. But those core values get to a point where they'll speak for themselves, and they don't need someone like me who, I plan to be the founder of this. Sure. Get to a point where it'll continue without me and still have that same moral compass and still have that same energy, still have that same, something bigger than me. Yeah.
Very similar thing for me. That's why I want to create a direct for other artists, so I'm not at the forefront of it. I'm serving someone else with a collaborative vision. Yeah. That's what I like to do the most, I think.
Yeah. There's something about, I was talking to a director about it yesterday, actually.
Cool.
And she was talking about she wants to do a similar thing.
Sorry, film director or
film director. Cool. She wants to build a company that basically, I think she said she's only allowed to be on the board of it for up to 18 months.
Yep.
And then she has to resign from it, and someone else has to take the mantle. So if there's a board of 5 people, it's like we're only allowed to be the board for 18 months.
Cool.
Because she realized in that industry there are gatekeepers who just hold that mantle until they die. And she's like, that's not what it's about. You're always passing the torch on, and by continuously circulating. And I'm like, but this is like your baby, your building. She's like, yeah, I'm still gonna be a part of it, but I don't want to be a gatekeeper in it, because that's how you stop things from, I guess, growing quicker and new ideas really circulating, because you get stuck in one mind frame.
Or a selfish mind frame.
Yeah. Which I'd never thought about that. And I was like, damn, that's super dope. And it's just thinking ahead, like it got me actually thinking about my parents and them migrating here from Ghana. They've come here knowing that they're like, obviously they've gotten a lot of coming here, but I know they know that they're just setting up like generational wealth, for example. They're the first step to what their grandkids are going to be reaping the benefits from.
I guess I was the same for my grandfather as well. Yeah, migrating from Europe.
Yeah.
Laying the foundation for us here so we can even be here in Australia doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and there's something so like incredible about that, thinking about it.
That far ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like thinking about us, but now got me thinking of like through their support and their sacrifice of coming here, what Genesis and I are doing with our music careers, like probably wouldn't have happened without that happening.
No.
But now they set a path and we're setting a path. So our kids, I started thinking about like how far down the line this is going to go. Like, it's going to be mad.
It's legacy, man.
It's going to be mad. But
Yeah.
it obviously started with their parents. Like, it goes way back.
Yeah.
But for this chapter of it, I was like, man, mom and dad, damn, power to you.
Love that, bro.
Power to you. And especially for them, like, they always plan to just go back home. So it was never about them. That selflessness.
Are they still planning to go back home?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're
At what point?
So dad's like getting ready. They're building their house back in Gunner right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have thought maybe around the time of the bushfires he would have been like, actually, I'll jet down. But he was chilling.
Yeah, no. Before then he started.
Yeah.
There's something about knowing that it was so selfless in that manner.
Yeah.
Of like, especially I know dad for a fact because we've spoken about it. But there is definitely something about knowing that it wasn't about him at all.
They moved here to raise you guys here.
It was
Yeah.
straight for Kofi and I. Like,
That's wild,
it.
bro.
That's
So
wild,
selfless.
man.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So now I think I'm getting to a point where I'm like, that's what it's about. Just setting the stones and setting the pieces for the next.
Mm. That's a
what it
much
is.
bigger picture than anything that we, I don't know, deal with at an immediate level that might stress us out or anything. I think bearing that in mind is very guiding.
Yeah.
And on that note, what is your single strongest held belief that you think guides you the most?
Oh damn.
Yeah, you're copping curveballs now, bro.
I think guides me the most.
Mm-hmm.
The line, it was actually from the Eckhart Tolle book.
Mm-hmm.
This too shall pass.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Especially powerful for the positive for me.
Yeah.
I think it seems obvious to tell yourself in negative times, this will change.
Yeah.
When shit's going great,
Yeah.
when you're at the top of your game, when outcomes are going wild, that's all going to go as well.
Yep.
That's really important to remember.
That's what was powerful for me.
Me too.
Because that reminder reminds me to really and truly enjoy when like
Things
shit's
are
on
good.
the up and up.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy it. But
Be
I'm
present
also
for it.
like, when it's done, it's done.
Mm.
And through that as well, being in a state of gratitude when things aren't going well.
I think that's the
Both.
key to everything, man.
Bro,
Leading with gratitude,
man,
there's a powerful energy around that, man.
don't even get me started.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, we just did.
I feel like I'm in this like untouchable space right now.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with gratitude for I just spoke about my parents. But for like, Nick, this situation,
Well,
the people around me.
Gratitude for relationships, man.
Bro.
That's always at the top of everything for me now.
Such gratitude for like music and being in the music industry and,
Yep.
and being a musician and a creative. Like most of the people that are in my life, I met through music.
All of my close relationships are through music.
Yep.
Was
Yeah.
born through music and are now just close relationships.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
tight.
90% of my relationships are because of music in one shape.
Because of work.
Dude,
Hard.
that's how can you not be grateful for that, man?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Bro. But and not that I haven't like always done this, but I think there's just been a more recent profound thing of like relationships really are at the top of everything for me now. Like more so than work or my own ambition, whatever it might be, like the people in my life are what everything revolves around. And funnily enough, so does success.
Yeah.
That's probably there as well.
Yeah. And they all play into each other.
They do.
Like it's no secret to you that I strongly believe that Canberra in particular is going to be a creative hub.
Mm-hmm.
On planet Earth,
Mm-hmm.
Canberra is going to be a creative hub.
Yep.
And I think I've told myself that so many times now that I'm just like, it's just gravity
Foregone
to me.
conclusion.
Now. It's
No,
just-
but people are saying that, man. It is a strong held belief in the community, musicians, in the creative fields.
yeah.
We all feel it.
But the only way to get to that is the gratitude for one, but like knowledge sharing, the idea
Very
that
true.
that you don't have to lose for me to win.
Yep.
I think that's
So
what. Yeah.
that goal you were talking about, the audio hub, you're seeing that as being in Canberra,
100%. It'll branch out internationally, but
Yeah.
that core hub,
based in
Yeah.
based in Canberra.
100%,
Tight.
100%, dude. Has to be.
Knowledge sharing is a big one, actually.
It's
Being successful with being transparent, I think, is really important.
well, we know everything we know because someone else has chosen to share that knowledge.
Completely agree. But I just find it interesting when people that are successful hoard the keys, so to speak.
I feel like anyone who's really successful doesn't hoard the keys.
True.
100%.
Mm.
Anyone who's really gotten to a point of what I consider as true
been through giving?
success. Yeah. 100%, dude.
I agree.
Yeah. And so I guess I see that the people who've been gracious and kind enough to give me their time that are way beyond where I am, and I go, huh, okay. For me, that's a piece of the puzzle.
That's a defining trait of those
Yep.
people. Yeah.
That's a absolutely defining trait. So I'm like, cool. If I'm not like that now, I need to be like that to get to there.
And
Through giving.
People might not know that you're a pretty big part of Music ACT. You're on the board, or you're sort of there. What are you seeing that's making you think Canberra is going to be a creative hub through that Music ACT work, which is a sort of advocacy group for Canberra musicians?
Well, the big thing of, obviously I know as creatives that we're on the same page, but knowing that there are people who not admire the creatives, but are there for us who aren't creatives themselves. There are people who have this same vision and have the same passion about it that like I do or you do or we do. There's something about that's giving you more hope. And being in somewhere like Music ACT is what's making me see that. You know, we've got someone like Dave Caffrey or Daniel Ballantyne who are expending so much of their energy into making shit better for us.
Yeah.
Man, all the venue owners, people who own venues, obviously they're running a business as well, yes, but it's all benefiting us. It's all this continuous circle. Everything plays into everything else. Without the venues, there can't be us playing them. Without us playing them, the venues can't really have any content going on.
Yeah.
So that's really what's really solidified for me is understanding and being around people who aren't necessarily in the industry that still have that same like vigor for it. Once again, being in Music ACT, like Dave Caffrey and Daniel Ballantyne. Man, I was with, for those who don't know about Daniel Ballantyne, he's in the back, but I was with him today, and how he speaks about like musicians around Canberra and the way that Canberra growth is there. And, you know, they spend a lot of time lobbying to the government.
Bro, he gave a speech at SIIYE for the Live Music Awards last year, and I was on my feet clapping, like so charged up about the future for the city, man. Like he is inspiring when he speaks about it. For real.
He's incredible, man. He's incredible. And more and more people are becoming like that, if not already like that. I think there is also a sense of, I guess with technology now, the understanding that people don't have to move out of Canberra.
Well, you showed me that day one for me, man, of like wanting to make music, seeing you and the platform you'd built, but Shaq telling me you were from Canberra. It changed my whole perception of like, I'll have to be in Melbourne or Sydney doing this.
Yeah.
I never did.
Taking them over.
And we've been here since.
Taking them over, man.
Absolutely.
Taking them over. Because that was the hardest thing about the first tour.
How did you learn that real quick?
That was, on our first tour, we met, I don't even know how many people.
Yeah.
A bunch of people. They were like, oh, you from Canberra? I was from Canberra. That conversation happened too many times.
But they'd moved or?
Yeah.
Right.
Originally from Canberra, and then they were in another city now, usually Sydney or Melbourne. That conversation just happened too many times where I'm like, huh. Because I was planning to move to Melbourne at that time. I was like, to be a musician, to make music, I got to go to Sydney or Melbourne, and Melbourne seemed like the better option for me. But yeah, those conversations were just like, imagine if even half these people had stayed and helped develop the scene.
Build the culture, yeah.
And that definitely just lit a spark. Definitely lit a spark.
Do you feel like there was a bit of a hindrance on the path of like the progress in Canberra because people were leaving and not staying, investing and building the city or the culture more?
Maybe, and it'd be pretty egotistic and ignorant of me to think that I was the first one to have this realization.
But I do think there's definitely, and there still was, you know, around me touring early on, like there was a stigma around Canberra about like nothing happens there and it's dead and shit.
Yep.
And we were out there proving that it ain't the case, bro. Like,
dude, that was like...
But I don't think that's a thing anymore, to be totally real.
People rep it, man.
There is definitely a cool creative tone to the word Canberra when people say it now, and they're aware.
Yep.
At the very least, there's an awareness, and building on that now is just what's important, and we're doing that for sure.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, doing tours, I remember doing, like, as a support act in tours, and blatantly, like, through my set being like,
I'm from Melbourne.
Doing this straight for camp. There was something about that. People seemed taken aback that I was like so openly and positively.
I did this too in Melbourne time after time.
Bro.
Because sorry, just what you're saying. I do remember this feeling of like, do I say I'm from Canberra? They're not going to get it. And there was a resistance. So like, even me being branded as a Canberra act on posters, I was playing in venues or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was this thing in my mind of like, do I just unashamedly? And yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
But it was definitely scary at the time.
Well, I ended up figuring out that was kind of my asset.
It's your edge, right? It makes you unique.
Yeah, because the fact that people thought there wasn't much happening in Canberra, although there clearly is, was kind of my card.
Because you're already starting from a point of there's not going to be nothing here, and then you deliver to a regular level. Everyone's like, holy shit, this is mind-blowing.
Under promise, over deliver.
Good line.
Dude, they came out off the bat not expecting much, and that gave me the edge.
Yeah.
That's what I felt was my edge, was just repping Canberra through and through and being like unashamedly just proud of the city that I'm in.
Me too.
Dude.
Fired up, man. Between you and Dan Valentine, bro. Just want to hustle.
Love it.
For real.
Love it. How we looking?
How we feeling?
Yeah, we've been going an hour and 18 minutes.
Damn.
That's
so
fine.
we got a solid pod here.
Yeah. Put it through, man.
Yeah.
We want to wrap it up?
That was great chatting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
So what are you thinking with the future of the old Mustard Flats? What's
the vision, Nick?
Well, as I said, there's not much. It's kind of started, build the studio, build the space. This is almost still a test run. This is the first. Well, this is second podcast we've done in here, basically.
Yeah. So
it's still testing all the gear, getting it dialed. I'm sure the viewers are still seeing little things here and there that are a bit odd, but we're getting it, and
sure.
Yeah, once we get it dialed in, anyone can come in here and we can chat. And, and there'll be a place to put it, which will be on the website, mustardflats.com, and we'll put other stuff up there too, like if who knows what other content, similar to what you were saying with, show off what Canberra's got to offer in one place a little bit.
Just speaking to the viewers, man, are there any comments we should get up on the screen and like chat to people and see what people are saying at all?
I haven't got your comments up.
True.
So there's not much. But people have been tuning in and
well, shout out to everyone who tuned in.
Yeah.
It's
been a fun time.
Much love to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to us talk smack.
It's hard to check the comments and do this.
Totally.
So
second test run.
But you'll hit them up on the chat, I'm sure.
100%.
After.
So
thank you for watching.
Maybe I'm more the social media guy.
Yeah, on a quick tip, if you're a social media person, just let it be.
We'll get your marketing agency, your audio agency. Yeah.
Love that.
And we'll get you all in Mustard Flats again.
Cool. Yeah, combine resources, sharing knowledge.
That's what it's about, man.
Love it.
Lessons.
Much love to you guys.